The time is now for the Toronto Blue Jays to show what they're truly made of. And they had a disappointing loss yesterday, but they now have their backs up against the wall against the Minnesota Twins. This current core that they have in place hasn't had any playoff success thus far. And now's the time to show management, show the coaching staff, and show the fans that they should stick together for years to come. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Yesterday is a wash. It's over with. Today's a new day. The series is not over. The Twins still have to win one more game. The Blue Jays got to win two, but the hardest game to win is the last one. And when it comes to the Twins, they haven't won a playoff series in over 20 years here. So all the pressure is on them. Of course, there's a considerable amount of pressure on the Toronto Blue Jays here to go out and perform because this core has had such high expectations over the years that they just haven't fulfilled. But now's the time to show what they're truly made of, and I'm looking directly at the stars of this group. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, George Springer. These guys are the ones that are going to take the Blue Jays to the promised land if they're ever going to get there. And Nick, the time is now for this team to really go and to show who they really are.
Yeah, and this is kind of the reason that it's not a one-game wild card series anymore. It used to be, and our season would have been over, but there's two more games hopefully left in the series, and we can't really fret about yesterday. I know a lot of people are negative. We didn't enjoy the game either. We hate, losing, but we have to just go with what's handed to us, and we have Jose Barrios going on the mounds. We're going to break that down. Before we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 8,500. You guys have been killing it, and hopefully we can come with a post-game video tonight that is positive, unlike yesterday's. But Peter, we'll quickly touch on yesterday's game. Check out our video late last night, right after the game, if you want to see our full analysis and breakdown. But ultimately, the reason we have only a picture of the batters here, we know the pitchers are going to do their job. They're going to do their job with the bullpen, the starting pitching. We're not worried about that. We are worried about the offense. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we need him to show up. We need Bo Bichette to continue to hit well, but also make the smart base running plays, make the smart plays in general. And Peter, Matt Chapman was an inch away from hitting a home run. He's looked actually pretty solid in yesterday's game. And who knows what the lineup for today is going to look like. I assume it might be the exact same, or at the very least, very, very similar. They need to go out there and show the fans that for the first time since 2016, let's have more than a 24-hour postseason run.
Yeah, absolutely. And the time is now for them to go ahead and do that. We're talking about Kevin Gausman. All the talk is about how he didn't have his sharpest stuff. He wasn't throwing strikes. But the truth is, you're rarely going to win a baseball game with one run. And you could talk about Kevin Gausman all you want, but he still battled through 4 innings, and it was still a manageable ball game by the time that he exited. And the bullpen did their job, as they have done all season long. They gave 4 shutdown innings. And if you pull up the box score for me, Nick, let's look at some names here. Springer 0 for 5. Belt 0 for 4 in the 2 spot with a couple of big
Bell
Ks.
looked horrible.
Vladdy, I mean, Belt looked horrible. Belt looked horrible. That's the bottom line there. Vladdy hit the ball hard a couple of times, but he's got to be better. Bo has got to be better. You look at the 2 for 4 over there. You look at the 1 run scored, but it's misleading, in my opinion. And let me know what you think of this take, Nick, because Bo, yeah, he got a couple of singles to start a rally over there, but he came up a couple of times with runners in scoring position, fly out in the first inning, and then a strikeout later on when Vladdy hit that leadoff double. So he's got to be better in the clutch moments. The Jays just have to be better all around. And Matt Chapman, I thought, was the best hitter yesterday that the Blue Jays had to offer, apart from Kevin Kiermaier, of course, who drove in the only run. But Matt Chapman had that near home run there that was robbed by Michael A. Taylor. And he hit a ball really hard, which probably would have scored a couple of runs if Bo Bichette didn't have that base running miscue. That's all in hindsight, though. We can't really dwell on that. I want to focus here on the positive. I think Jose Barrios is going to have a really good start today. I think he's going to have his A-plus stuff. And last start that he had against the Twins, he was really good. He threw 5 2/3 of shutdown baseball. He's playing against his former team today. He's got some personal vendetta against them, I would like to think, especially in this playoff game here. And we keep repeating this. We're going to sound like broken records throughout this video. But yeah, this is the time for them to really step it up and to show what they're made of. Because if they don't go out there and win today, and I suspect some big time changes are going to be happening in the offseason, and they're going to be happening as soon as they're allowed to be made.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that today. If we're not going to talk as if they're going to lose. If they do lose today, I would suspect the Ben Nicholson Smith article over the next in the coming days revolving around some rumors that are going to happen with Ross Atkins. But the pressure is on the Blue Jays. The pressure is also on the Twins in finishing out this series because in front of their home crowd against their former pitcher that they obviously traded to us for a couple prospects. And I don't know, I'm a little bit nervous. And let's just quickly go over what John Schneider said last night after the game. He said we played a good game and didn't get the breaks we needed to. And then he also went to say that Yusei Kikuchi, Chris Bassett, and Hicks, and everyone except Gosse will be available to pitch. Chris Bassett is available out of the bullpen. I don't suspect they use him out of the bullpen unless something weird happens. I suspect Kikuchi is a more likely option to come out of the bullpen because the Twins are way worse against left-handed hitters. But Bassett's option is there. I'm assuming he's still lined up to start. And if he somehow gets in this game, then who knows who starts tomorrow? Maybe Kikuchi if Bassett comes in, one of them doesn't. And then he also said John Schneider on the Blue Jays offense. Chappie hits the ball farther than Lewis and it's caught. It happens. He threw the ball well. I thought we adjusted well pretty along with him. You give him credit. We hit some balls really hard and didn't find any holes. Honestly, I don't really like the quote, but I agree with what he said. We did hit the adjustment to Pablo Lopez got better as the game went on. It's just that we couldn't really find some holes, but the approach wasn't exactly where it needs to be. And our base running was ultimately something that definitely cost us with the Bo Bichette thing. And just our approach overall, you mentioned Bo Bichette's strikeout there. After Vladdy's leadoff double, he's hyped up. Bo swings at a pitch 4 feet outside the zone to the left, and I don't know. It doesn't, or his right, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Any quick thoughts on John Schneider's comments? I don't know what else he's gonna say. You can't be negative. You can't. Maybe you could hold your team a bit more accountable. I'm not gonna say his job is on the line, but he needs to see some playoff success for if he wants to stay a manager of the Blue Jays. Maybe past next year, maybe even this offseason, depending on how this goes. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think the time to hold your team accountable is in the regular season. I think once you're in the playoffs, it's not really the time to call out guys. So I'm okay with John Schneider not really going all out, but he never really called out his guys throughout the entire season. Maybe he had that one instance where Vladdy wasn't hustling out of the box, and he decided to have a sit down with him. But apart from that, John Schneider has been a little bit too easy going on the guys for my liking, at least, and I don't know. I just don't think it's the right time for him to say, "Oh, we got to be better. We sucked."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is a game of inches at times. And Buck Martinez said yesterday on the broadcast that the game or the series could have been decided by maybe a home run here or there or a walk here or there. And I think he's going to be right. I think the Jays are going to win today. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it because their backs are up against the wall, and they have shown some amount of pushback this season. Obviously, we would have liked for them to have finished with a better record, to have finished higher in the divisional standings, but it ultimately didn't happen. Now, your season comes down to this one game today. You got to take it one inning at a time, and all hands are on deck. I mean, guys are going to hit the free agent market. Guys are going to leave after this season, and this could be the last time that we see this group of guys together, at least for the foreseeable future. So yeah, all hands are on deck. You got to put it all out there on the field today, and leave nothing behind because it could be the last game that you play this season.
Yeah, and this could be our last video, or I guess our second last video, because we're doing a post game reaction tonight of the regular of this 2023 season. So it's kind of crazy to think about, and I'm just hoping that we're able
Yeah.
to win tonight and go on a bit of a run before we get on all the offseason stuff. Because if we get eliminated in this wild card series, we know the drama is going to be crazy. So any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, it's just exciting, Nick. It's exciting. I'm really looking forward to this game today. There's nothing better than playoff baseball for me. I just hope that we get to see a little bit more of it past today because it would be a monumental disappointment if the Blue Jays were not able to at least win one playoff game this season. And even if they were to win one and then get bounced tomorrow, I think it would be pretty disappointing as well, just because of the expectations, the high level expectations that have been set on this group. But yeah, we got to look ourselves in the mirror at the end of the season, and maybe this team is just not what we thought it was. Maybe these guys are just not who we thought that they were. And you look at other teams, you look at the elite teams like the Astros and the Dodgers and the Braves. They all have those superstars that opposing teams' eyes gravitate towards. And Royce Lewis could be one of those guys in the near future. But he won them the game single handedly. You couldn't pitch to him. Whatever mistake that you made to Royce Lewis yesterday, it was a home run. He took it he took it 400 feet and he made you pay for it. The Jays just simply haven't had a guy like that this year. I know Bo's average has been good, but the extra base pop just hasn't been there enough to make other teams pay. And same thing with Vladdy. You just your superstars have got to be your superstars. I'm not convinced that Vladdy and Bo are superstars. I got to see a little bit more out of them. But if there was ever a time for them to show that they are in the upper tier of stars in the game, today would be the day, and maybe turn some of that postseason bad luck around.
Yeah, and hopefully, I think it's a bit more than bad luck too. It's a bit of bad luck, and it's a bit of, like you said, maybe the team is cursed for however. Toronto sports is cursed, but hopefully the Jays can change that tonight. But
Maybe.
that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully in a few hours from now, 6 or 7 hours, we are making a video on how we are going to a nerve-wracking Game 3 with Chris Bassett on the hill. So thank you guys for watching, and let's pray.